What's beyond our reality? Is there a different world waiting for our discovery? Are you open to the disruption that comes with change? This can only be done by embracing your fears, challenging your beliefs, questioning your reality, turning within for real change. This is where we join science, metaphysics, spirituality, and life experiences to bring about true healing. You can be happy. You can have peace. You can heal. This is the Self-Healing Network. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to talk a little bit about emotions and EFT and how you can use EFT to help address emotions and things in your life that you want to get rid of. So first I wanted to talk a little bit about EFT, what it is, how you can use it, what is it used for, and how it works, and then also emotions and stress, and the effect that they have on your body and how they can contribute to and lead to dis-ease. So first of all, my name is Jamie, and I trained with Gary Craig, who is the founder of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and I trained with actually Sherry Baker, who is the head of his English language department for instructing EFT. But so I trained with Sherry Baker for a year and a half in order to accomplish my master certification in Emotional Freedom Technique. And that included both EFT tapping, gold standard, as well as optimal EFT, which is a newer version of Emotional Freedom Technique, but it is highly effective and actually more effective, most find, than EFT tapping. I just want to share my knowledge and help people use EFT because it is an amazing tool for addressing emotions and stress and all of those things. So emotions, stress, all of those things are, closely tied to the body and affect the way that we feel. And I think a lot of people underestimate the power of emotions if they are not, appropriately dealt with, or if there's something that you've experienced for years and years and years and just pushed to the back, that they can have a detrimental effect on your body and your health. And I think that's been downplayed by our medical system. I'm only speaking here in America because that's all I really know. But our medical system has they have downplayed the role that emotions such as stress and fear and anxiety and all those things have on our body. So anyways, today I'm going to explain more in depth how those emotions affect your body, and also I'm going to guide you through a tapping demonstration so that you can start using EFT tapping today. And you can use it to address anything that you're wanting to address. And I'm just going to go over the basics because it can get pretty in-depth. But anyways, so there is a mind-body connection. We cannot separate the mind from the body. Emotions are not just in the mind. They create real physiological changes in the body. Chronic stress or unprocessed emotions can contribute to many things, including inflammation, immune suppression, and pain. And I am sure that there are many people out there that can testify from their own personal experience how stress made anything they were experiencing much worse, like pain or inflammation. So from an energy healing perspective, stuck emotions equal energy blocks. because emotions just are not this abstract thing that is an idea, right? Emotions actually create reactions in your body, chemical, electric reactions in your body. According to EFT's principles and Gary Craig, the cause of all negative emotions is a disruption in the body's energetic system. So, in theory and in general, emotions aren't bad. They're just pointing out something that needs attention. So, emotions are very real and very important, but they were not made to be carried in your body for years on end. These are some statistics I found on the web about stress and emotions. Up to 90% of doctor visits are stress related. Chronic stress increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, obesity, and diabetes. People who suppress emotions have higher cortisol levels and weaker immune function, making them more susceptible to illness. Long-term emotional suppression has been linked to increased risk of cancer and autoimmune disorders. People with depression are twice as likely to develop heart disease. The ACA study found that people with high emotional trauma in childhood were 2 times as likely to have heart disease or cancer, 4.5 times more likely to suffer from depression, 12 times more likely to attempt suicide. And that was a CDC Kaiser Permanente ACE study. So studies have also shown that emotional distress can heighten the perception of physical pain and that unresolved trauma often manifests as chronic pain. So you can clearly see here how unresolved trauma can over time lead to serious chronic diseases. And the good news is that if it can lead to that, then you can reverse it. And despite what Google and WebMD and whatever mainstream medical advice wants you to think, everything according to them, there's no known cause or no known cure. So that's not true. And just to let you know, that's not true. So emotions are not just feelings, right? They're energetic and they're biochemical events. When you experience any emotion, your brain and your nervous system respond instantly by sending electrical signals and releasing chemical messengers all throughout your body. So, I mean, this has been proven scientifically, right? Stress reactions create chemical electric reactions in your body. Emotions begin in the brain, often in the limbic system, especially in the amygdala. The brain sends electrical impulses through the nervous system to prepare your body for action like fight, flight, or freeze. These impulses affect your heart rate, your breathing, your muscle tension, and your organ function. So chronic emotional patterns like that can cause your body to remain in an ongoing state of stress or tension, fight or flight, leading to energy imbalances and nervous system dysregulation. We were not meant to be in a constant or chronic state of fight or flight. Fight or flight was meant for an instantaneous short-term response to a life-threatening situation. So the lives that we lead today, there's so much fear put out there for us that a lot of times we're in a constant state of fight or flight, and it's not because something is actually threatening our lives. It's not being chased by an animal that's going to kill us or whatever. It's not an actual fight or flight situation, but it's perceived as that by the brain, and it keeps your nervous system in that fight or flight. And we are not meant to be in that for long term. So of course that's going to cause long term issues. Each emotion triggers the release of specific neurotransmitters and hormones. Stress and fear result in the release of cortisol and adrenaline. Joy and love release dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. When emotions are repressed or they're chronic, these chemical signals become imbalanced. And over time, excess stress hormones like cortisol can weaken the immune system, disrupt digestion, impair sleep, and increase inflammation, creating a fertile ground for disease and other chronic things to develop. So the final pull here is that unprocessed emotions can become stuck in the body as energetic blocks. These blocks disrupt the body's natural ability to self-regulate and heal. And this internal imbalance is what many healing traditions refer to as the root of disease. So I believe, and a lot of people that I have learned from truly believe and know this statistically, that up to 99% of all chronic issues, imbalances, health issues, diseases, have an underlying emotional correlation. So emotions have a very important role in our health. So that is why I am a firm believer in EFT. That's why I studied so long to learn EFT and everything about it, because I know how important emotions are in contributing to almost everything, which means that you can use EFT as a tool to help eliminate those energetic disruptions, those blockages, and in turn help eliminate the issues that you're trying to get rid of. So a lot of times we have a trauma that happened. Perhaps a lot of times it goes back to childhood, sometimes even before we remember that they happened, and they may not, looking back, seem like a trauma. But a trauma doesn't necessarily mean something super traumatic. It was traumatic to you at the time. It could have been a comment that somebody made to you that really hurt your feelings, and then throughout the years, other people have said similar things that kind of re-traumatized you, and then you have this natural reaction in your body when somebody does something or says something similar to that. That's considered a trauma. At the time of the first event, you experienced a trauma which created an imbalance in one of your meridians, an energetic disruption in your body. So one of the best ways to get those energetic disruptions out is to use EFT. So EFT helps clear emotional energy. What EFT tapping does is it's kind of like, I'm going to compare it to acupuncture because it utilizes some of the acupuncture points. So if you're familiar with acupuncture, there are meridians that run through the body, and they connect to organs and glands and tissues and body parts and all of that. So with EFT tapping, instead of needles, you're going to use your fingertips, and you're going to tap on the ends of some of the meridians. And the points that are being used are covering pretty much all the meridians. So you don't have to know which meridian the energetic blockage is in. We're covering all of them. So tapping on a meridian while you're talking about what you're wanting to resolve is a way to clear out that energetic disruption. So the tapping also helps regulate the nervous system. It's helping to bring the body out of fight or flight and into rest and repair. It also accesses the subconscious mind, which gently uncovers the deeper roots of physical and emotional issues. There's a lot that could be said about what emotions, correlate to what issues. There's entire books that outline physical issues or whatever. And point out what emotions, traumas could possibly lead to that. As an example, the liver issues are commonly known to be correlated with anger. Um, other things like the lungs is like a fear, a death fright. And I do like to combine a little bit of German New Medicine, even though I don't know tons about it, but that's very reputable. So anyways, I'm going to give you a demonstration on how to use EFT for yourself and for whatever you're wanting to help eliminate. So this can be as simple as a physical pain or discomfort. It can be an emotional issue, like sadness or fear, worry, anything like that. Some things are going to take deeper investigation on your part in order to get to the root of the cause. And of course, I can tell you how to do that, but I don't know each individual situation. Whoever's watching this right now, I don't know your particular trauma and the events that were around that trauma. So I can't get into obviously I can't get into specifics here, but I can give you the basics and then I can tell you how to address your issue on your own time. So what I want you to do is I want you to, if you can, get a piece of paper or, make a note in your phone. Decide what you're going to tap on. It could be a headache, a backache, a pain in a part of your body. It could be sadness, depression, whatever. It could be anything. So pick what you're going to work on. And we're going to use a scale of 0 to 10. And you're going to, if you need to close your eyes, tune into your body, tune into your being, and kind of figure out how it feels to you, how intense that feeling is to you. If you really have to put yourself in a situation that makes you feel that feeling, if it's personal, with a person, or put yourself in that situation, and then how intense does it feel? 0, nothing. 10 is super intense as it could be. And don't do anything traumatic right now because no one's there to help you. I don't want you to traumatize yourself or get into a state of panic or crying. So that's something you should do with somebody like me, like a practitioner. If it's something very traumatic, I wouldn't necessarily try it on your own if that trauma is really intense for you. You want someone to be there to help you. Anyways, so if you come up with a number, and if numbers don't work for you, then pick low, medium, or high, or whatever scale works for you. You can use that, and just write it down so you know what you started out as. And if you're dealing with an emotion, also notice if something comes up in your body. Like if you feel sadness and then you feel, something in your heart area or your throat, write that down too, and write how intense that feeling is. So we're going to start out tapping, and we're going to have, it begins with a setup phrase. So the setup phrase is, even though I, and then you insert into that blank space what you're going to talk about. So even though I have this headache, but you're going to be as descriptive as possible. So if you have a pain in the body, you're going to describe exactly how it feels, where it is, and what type of pain it is. So even though I have this sharp shooting pain in the back of my head on the right side, okay, that's an example. You want to be, the more descriptive you are, the better it's going to work. And then if you're going to tap on an emotion like sadness, you're going to say, even though I feel really sad when I think about, and then you're going to describe the whole situation that you're talking about. So while you do the setup phrase, you're going to tap on your karate chop point, and that's this fleshy point on the side of your hand. So even though I blank have this pain, or feel this sadness, or have this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself. And that's after you describe your whole situation, you're going to say, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this blank, or even though I feel this blank, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, that's it. Now you're going to move on to the next point, and you're going to say a reminder phrase that's going to remind your brain what you're talking about. So it's just a shortened version of the setup of what your issue is. So you could say, like, this pain in the back of my head, or just this sadness, this anger, this frustration, this anxiety, whatever it is. Just sum it up to remind yourself what you're talking about. The first point is up here. You're going to tap with your whole hand. And every time you move to a new point, you're going to repeat the reminder phrase one time. Next point is right where your eyebrow starts, right on that bone, and you're going to use 2 to 3 fingers. And this pain in the back of my head. And you're tapping at least 5 times. Moving on to the eye bone on the outside of your eye. This pain in the back of my head. And then you're going to move down on the same eye bone, but underneath your pupil. This pain on the back of my head. Moving on to the point under your nose. This pain on the back of my head. And then moving on to the next one, which is your chin, like right in the little, dimple area, whatever. This pain in the back of my head. And then the next one is these 2 points right here on your collarbone. You can either do both points or just one. This pain in the back of my head. And then the last point is underneath your arm. I use my whole hand just to hit it. It's where if you're a woman, it's like where your bra strap would be. If you're a man, it's in line with your nipples. So it's pain in the back of my head. So when you're tapping, it does not matter what side you tap on or which hand you tap with. You can use both if you'd like. It doesn't matter. So now after you've tapped one, that's considered one round, you may need to take a deep breath, which actually would help. Some people yawn. That means that things are releasing. So now you're going to tune back in to what your issue is. And you're going to ask yourself, what intensity is it now? Is it still at a 9 or an 8 or whatever you started with? Is it still there? What is it now? Did it come down? Write that number down, next to the other one that you originally started with. And rate all the numbers. If you had, a couple of them, if you had one for, an emotion and then one for something in your body, do both of those and see where they're at. If you have a physical pain, sometimes the pain moves to a different area. That's totally normal. That means that the aspect has changed. whatever emotional aspect is under that pain, it means it's changed to a different aspect. So on the next round, you're going to obviously switch up your wording and change it to, if the pain moved, or if it moved to a different type of pain, you're going to change it to fit. And then obviously, if you still have some charge to that emotion, if it was an emotion that you were tapping on, like sadness, and if it came down a bit, do another round and allow it to come down more. You may be able to get it to a 0. It's possible. If you don't, it's normal for it not to come down all the way. Typically with things like anger or anxiety or depression, those are long-term things that aren't going to be able to be tapped out just by a couple rounds. Those take some investigation and going into past events and tapping on those events and getting rid of the charge that's associated with those. So, that's definitely something you could do on your own. You would just write down events related to that particular emotion, tracing it back as far as you can. So the earliest event you can remember that made you feel that same exact way, you're going to write that event down and tap on, going through the specific things that happened in that event and going through tapping on the emotions that you felt. So, you may need some help. If you need some help, I do one-on-one consultations or one-on-one sessions. So I'm happy to help if you wanted to do some deeper healing. I will give you my website in the description so that you can, I have a free tapping tutorial on there that tells you exactly what to do. So I'll put that in the description if you wanted to go on there and, kind of clarify every step that you need to do, and you can totally do that on your own. Another good resource is Gary Craig's website. He has a lot of information on there. It's palaceofpossibilities.com. And of course, I highly recommend his website and all of his stuff. You can learn a lot. You can go through, tons of his material, webinars, and all that stuff. So that's a good source of information. So anyways, I don't want to make this too long. It's already been like half an hour or something. But I hope this helps. And, if you tried it with me, then let me know in the comments how it went and if it helped. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. So anything you need, put them in the comments, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, if you would like to see more videos on this, please like and subscribe. And, shoot me some suggestions for what to tap on, because the possibilities are endless. And, healing is really, EFT makes healing really easy. And, this is not limited to emotions or pains. It's, like I said, almost everything can be traced back to a chronic experience of an emotion. So whether you're dealing with the most serious of disease, there are emotional correlations that you can use EFT to help get rid of them. So I think that's it. But yeah. So I encourage you to use EFT every day if you find a good system that works for you. It's a great way to start your day, or it's something you can do anytime. Like, you could do it in your car while you're stopped at a light. It takes like 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe. And it is unbelievable how good it works. So anyways, let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye. If you enjoy this type of content and would like to see more, please like and subscribe to be notified when I upload new videos. You can read more about EFT, join my healing community, or schedule a private session by visiting my website at roothealings.com.